Hey, I'm Mrs. Smith. Things are going to get a little wild as we add and subtract decimals. In order to add and subtract decimals, the first thing you need to do is set up the problem correctly. We want to make sure we're adding whole numbers with other whole numbers and decimals with other decimals. And on top of that, we even want to make sure that we're adding tenths to other tenths, hundredths to other hundredths, ones to other ones. We have to line up our place values. The easiest way to make sure that we have our places lined up with each other is to line up our decimal points. If you line your decimal points up, that will automatically put your tenths with other tenths, your hundredths with other hundredths on the decimal side, or on the whole number side, your ones with other ones, your tens with other tens. Here are some examples. Let's add these numbers. 11 and 2/10 plus 7 and 5/10. Well, these are mixed numbers. They're made up of whole numbers and decimals. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write them so that we line up the decimal points. That way our tenths will automatically be lined up with each other. Let's add our tenths. So 2/10 plus 5/10 is 7. And we're going to bring our decimal point straight down on the answer too, because 2/10 plus 5/10 is really 7/10. And then we're going to keep adding. On the next column, we have 1 plus 7. Yep, that's 8. And then on to the next column. So we have 1 plus nothing else. Of course, that's 1. Well, 11 and 2/10 plus 7 and 5/10 is 18 and 7/10. How about this one? 16 and 9/100 plus 9. Well, look at this 9. We're supposed to line up decimal points, but this 9 doesn't have one. Well, that's because it's a whole number. And it's all whole number. There is no decimal part to it. If it's all whole number, then we don't need to show the decimal point. We just need to know that it would be located after the 9. The 9's a whole number and the decimal point would be just after it. So when we line them up, we're gonna make sure and put the 9 with the whole numbers, and I would go ahead and put a decimal point in there too. So see how I lined up the decimal points? And then you can fill in the empty space with zeros if you like. And then you're just gonna add like you regularly would. 9 plus 0, so 9/100 plus no hundredths would be 9/100. And then next column, just like regular whole number addition. 0 plus 0, well, that's still going to be 0. Next, we'll bring the decimal point straight down into our answer. And in the next column, we have 6 plus 9. So that's going to be 15. We'll put down our 5. We'll carry our 1 next door. 1 plus 1 is, of course, 2. 25 and 9/100. Let's look at this one. 5.67, 5 and 67/100 minus 3/10. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to line up those numbers, which means you're going to rewrite them and line up those decimal points. Let's bring those 3/10 and make sure they settle down right underneath those 6/10. Then you can fill in that empty space if you like, just to make it look like it's all lined up on that right-hand side, like we're used to with whole numbers. And we're going to subtract. 7 minus 0 is 7. 6 minus 3 is 3. Bring that decimal point straight down into your answer. 5 minus nothing is 5. The difference between 5 and 67/100 and 30/100 is 5 and 37/100. Even if we have 3 or more numbers to add, we're going to line up the decimal points. So we're going to line them up. Ooh, take a look up there. Did you notice that whole number 18 up there? You need to remember it has an invisible decimal point after it. Keep that in mind as you line things up. Make sure it ends up all on the whole number side, just like that. All lined up. And then we can add them. So to start with, you might want to fill in that empty space with zeros, just so they look all nice and lined up, since that's what we're used to. People are more comfortable with it looking that way. 0 plus 0 plus 5. 4 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. Bring that decimal point all the way down into your answer. We have 7 plus 8 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17. Put your 7. Carry your 1 over to the tens place, and 1 plus 1 is 2. 27 and 45 hundredths. Working with decimals is so wild, huh? Well, let's go wild with these examples. Grab a piece of paper, write down these problems, line them up, and then you can check your answer. Right now, try this one. And here's the answer. 15 and 2/10 plus 7/10 is 15 and 9/10. Next, write down this one, work it out, see what you get. Don't forget you can hit pause if you need more time. Before we look at the answer, here's a clue. You should have lined them up like this. Did you? And then, did you fill in that empty space with zeros? And get this. Practice number 3. Write this subtraction problem down and find the difference. Did you notice that 15 was a whole number? Add a decimal point after it and line them up like this. Here's my work. Does it match yours? I hope so. Thanks for watching this wild adventure with decimals. I'll see you next time.